Hi, welcome back to Cheyenne, Wyoming Urban Gardener. This is going to be a real quick video, not really out in the garden, but we are dealing with some produce and making beef bone broth and chicken bone broth and things like that. And what I wanted to go over with everyone is a little bit of some safe canning practices. This is something that I learned a very long time ago, many years ago, and it's not something that is promoted these days, safe canning practices and all of that, with checking your canning, your lids, your rings, stuff like that. So I wanted to show you a little bit of some differences between some lids here, and there's a big debate on whether or not you can reuse lids. It's advised not to reuse lids, so this is something that you would do at your own risk. This is only advice and not something that anyone should take lightly, and it again is at your own risk. So I'm just going to put this out here because this is something that I do. This is a personal choice of mine, so it's up to you whether you want to do these things, but this is a your own risk thing. Check your websites for safe canning practices if you're concerned about that, and check those out before you get into any advice here on a YouTube channel with any of the YouTube creators. But this is a question on whether or not you can reuse lids. I personally do reuse lids, some lids, not all lids, depending on the product that I'm canning, depending on what the lid is, brand, things like that, because some brands honestly are better than others, at least in my experience. I've not really had a whole lot of issues with a lot of different brands. I've used multitudes of different brands, and there's not any one in particular that I'm promoting over another. But in particular, these are Ball canning lids. And I wanted to show you some lids that you don't want to use or reuse. And this one would be one, if you pulled it straight out of the box and it looked like this, you absolutely would not use this lid. First of all, if you look at it, the seal on it, and this is actually a brand new lid, by the way, the seal on it, it has an irregularity. You can see that there. There's a little bit of some overlapping of the seal onto the actual lid. There's potential that this lid would not seal. And then you see here a scratch. Now this again was a brand new box that I had opened up. And occasionally this happens, whether it's shipping or something like that that causes the damage. Occasionally this happens. So you can see here that it not only has a little bit of staining on it, it also has a scratch on the actual coating on the lid. So that has a potential to rust, number one, if it got any oxygen into it at all. It also can cause oxidization. And it's just in general, for the coating to be off of there, this coating could actually continue to further scrape off, even after it's already sealed, if it did seal, and it could go into your product. So this is a lid that you absolutely would not want to use. Now, here is a ring that you also would not want to use. This again is a brand new ring, but I've had my boxes of canning supplies stored for a while because we are moving. And even in that short period of time that we've had them stored, this ring has started to rust. You can see the rust here along the edges. And this is a ring that would either fail, continue to rust, possibly contaminate your product. And this is a ring that you absolutely would not want to use. So that again would be something you would not want to use. This lid, even though it has a little bit of some seal there that's a little bit overlapping, it's not quite as prominent as the first one that we were looking at. And it does have a little spot of stain, but otherwise overall, this lid is very clean. It looks good. This is a Golden Harvest lid. This is not a Ball lid. And you can see here the coating is nice. There's no scratches, anything like that. So I would reuse this lid. Now, this lid has been used previously, so I would reuse it. And I am actually getting ready to do so now. And for this type of a lid that has been used before, then I would use it for a product that if it did not for some reason seal, or it failed for some reason, that I would not take a huge hit on losing. So I would use this particular lid for something that I wouldn't mind putting it on, that I wouldn't mind to lose. So anyway, this lid looks pretty good. We will wipe it off, we will reuse it, and there you have it. So that is the only cases that I would reuse lids or not reuse lids, depending on how they look. And that's definitely something, if you are into the practice of reusing lids, that you definitely want to look at. So again, this is not a video that I promote, because I know a lot of people will not reuse their lids, and they promote safe canning practices and not reusing their lids. So that is up to you. That is something you do at your own risk. And anyway, if you like this video and it gave you a little tip on something, and you learned something or you didn't learn something, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment below, and we'll discuss it. And we'll see you in the next video.